Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another session of the Gaming Academy. It is September 9th, 2025 here, about 8 p.m. in the Pacific Northwest, a little town called, it's not a town, it's more like a city, but Bellingham, Washington. So if you are around this area and you're watching, hey, awesome. Say hey, say hi, say what's up in the chat. You guys are all across the country, say hi as well. So drop your hello in chat there, and pleasure to have you as always. If it's your first time here, it's where just a bunch of guys just hang out, talk about video games, things we love, and maybe hit you up with some news, some history, and maybe you can learn a thing or two with our podcast. So with that said, I want to welcome back all the students to the Gaming Academy. It is now session 48. That is a lot of sessions. So I'm pretty excited. We're almost hitting 52, which would make it a year anniversary. So awesome. But yeah, tonight we got a stacked syllabus for you today. And trust me, this one's going to hit you right in the nostalgia and prep you for the next big grind. That's what we're all about, just trying to grind it out. In today's lecture, we're covering a lightning-fast quick fight session where we break down the Borderlands 4 launch, celebrate the Flame Fatale's charity speedrun event, and talk about how global gaming laws can reshape the industry. Now, over at the rumor mill, the hype train is real. We're talking a possible Red Dead Redemption 2 remaster, a new GTA 6 gameplay theory, and a few indie darlings you need to keep your hands on. So check this out. Speaking of check this out. Ace, Blazing Ace, our own technician over here, is going to be bringing us two absolute gems that he found out recently: the tactical magic of Chain Heroes and the hand-painted beauty of Astria Ascending. So looking forward to that. Plus, we'll be closing things out with this week's final boss, where we'll be rolling out patch notes for your life, buffs, nerfs, and a brand new feature to help you IRL. So grab your notebooks, power up your nostalgia meter. Let's get ready to earn some XP because class 48 starts right now. And you guys know, if you guys have been following us for a while now, yeah, it's good. I like that. It's I am the Dark Lord of Gaming Academy. I have two companions here, not Frodo, not Sam, but Ace and Nick. There you go. There's a laugh.
Sure.
I'll go change this while you guys talk about stuff.
I didn't know if you did it on purpose or not. I was just like, all right, here we go.
Sounds good to me.
Rocking with it either way. But
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see everybody back this week. We've got some pretty solid stuff, and there's been a lot happening. Not just with my particular finds, thanks to a couple of my folks over in the neighborhood, but also just with with Silksong dropping and just how the industry was just set on fire with this. Like I'm looking forward to just laying everything out on the table and really hashing it out with you guys.
Yeah, I've been eyeballing those two games too, and visually they just look like they're right up my alley. So, yeah. Aside from that, how about you, Nick? I know you and I have recently just been playing No Man's Sky again, so that's pretty cool. Nope, where'd he go? Frozen in time. There he is.
Squiffy there, really quick.
Squiff. Skirt. It's one of those nights. Oh, there it is.
There we go. Sorry. I was on the other Wi-Fi because I was streaming before. I switched back to this one because this one has a better connection. Yeah. Hello. What were we talking about?
I was just, doing a week check-in like you and I recently we were playing No Man's Sky update. So
yeah, we were. I decided to reinstall it with the updates, and then like a day after I installed it, you're like, hey, me and my buddy are hopping on. Do you want to check it out? I was like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we got to run around in that a little bit, brought back a little nostalgia just because for me, I have a lot of really good memories associated with the launch of it, despite it launching and not being what was advertised. I was just really looking forward to the game when it came out. I loved the trailers. I loved the promise of it. And playing it now, like, I'm happy where it's at now with all the updates for sure. And like where I think Starfield has failed, at least in terms of like the stickiness and getting me to explore and do the stuff. Like the combat, obviously, in Starfield's way, way better. compared to what's in here. But I don't have the same draw for exploration like we did just running around, just a couple of us building bases and stuff.
That was pretty cool. Like that was my first time playing that game. I think I played it like 10 minutes before when it first launched, and I was like, this is kind of boring. Like,
oh no, I can tell, because when you boot it up, you're just like, what the hell is this? What the hell is that?
Yeah. And so and I think there's some merit in that, because you don't have expectation, right? Like, because it's been so long since I originally booted it up that I was like, oh, this is all good, this is all new to me. So that's it's like a kid opening their present for the first time, right?
Yeah, well, it's just crazy how much content they're still pumping out for it after all this time.
Yeah, I honestly, I was surprised that they had a big update, and then made the news, and then now we're playing again. So that's kind of how it works sometimes. You get an update and people get back on the train. So that's fantastic. Yeah, speaking of updates, we got a lot to cover tonight. So let's just get into it. Ace, you ready to check this out?
Let's get on it.
All right, I got new art for you. Look at this. Yo, check this out.
Yo, check this out.
All right. If it's your first time here, this is the portion of the show where we check things out over in anything in gaming culture. Sometimes we talk about pre-order weird promos that come out of certain events, and pre-orders that used to get for free back in the day, and some of the most obscure and crazy collector's editions out there. So in this case, I thought these two games were also on my radar, and I wanted to check them out. So Ace, take it away.
Yes, sir. So over the last week or so, like aside from digging back into my backlog and losing my mind on Avengers again, there have been a couple of games that over the last little while have been recommended to me by a couple of my close friends, a couple of my good neighbors over on my stream. So I figured, you know what? They're both on sale. I got the spare scratch. Let's check them out. And the first of them, which has just like I had been hearing the good word on the street about this game for a while, but even then, my expectations were still completely blown away just in the opening moments of this game. So if you've got some gameplay to pull up, let's take a look at Chained Echoes. Now, Chained Echoes is, firstly, it immediately drew me in because I absolutely love the sprite work in the game. It's charming, but at the same time, there's very much of a what's the word? There's very much a fusion of old and new in the visual palette. I mean, since it is sprites on the screen, you've got that kind of nostalgic vibe to it. But as you're moving around the map, and especially as you're getting into the combat later on in the game, you definitely start seeing more and more of its old school influences being blended together to, form something new to appeal to not just fans of the classic 16-bit era stuff like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, Secret Mana, all the good stuff, but also to get new fans to actually take a look at the game as well, because retro is back in style, sprites are back in style. So you see a new game that's sprite based, new fans are going to think it's retro. They're going to jump in, click, go, oh, this is rad. But then us old heads are going to jump on and go, I remember this game. I remember this game. I mean, the section right before this scene is literally a flip of the opening to Chrono Trigger. It's hilarious.
You understood the homework.
Right. But getting into the combat for this, though, that's where things start to really get spicy. Because this isn't just button mashing. This isn't just press A to attack and win. In fact, more often than not, your basic attacks tend to be your weakest option in combat. But part of that is because after each fight, after each battle, all your hit points and magic points are actually restored. So you're back to full, whether you win or whether you flee. But aside from that, with each combat encounter, your team's position changes on the field, and with each character, there's already a robust lineup of inherent skills and moves that they can learn, and your best chance at actually getting through the game, even the earlier parts, except for here when you're rocking the mechs.
That's a mech. That's cool.
Yeah. They, the Sky Armors, think Xenogears, but actually, no, not even Xenogears. Think Escaflowne.
Okay. Like White Knight Chronicles.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good call out.
Got him.
But with when you've got a team put together, your best bet is to, do what you can to make sure, you got to think at least one or two characters ahead in your turn and synergize everyone's abilities. So, Glenn, your lead hero, he starts off with a set of, he starts off with an armor breaker. So you can have him already just, start the round off, boom, cut the enemy's defenses down, and then have Kylie, your partner, drop in with his great sword and just, capitalize on the additional damage he can do aside from what he's already got there. But what Glenn also has is what they call the oil slash, which is literally a sword strike that, coats the enemy in oil, making them susceptible to fire damage. And you've got a character that actually comes in with a fire-based attack, a little bit later on after this section. So again, it's just, peeking through everyone's skill list and, legitimately strategizing your turns. Another thing to mention is that there's going to be a certain point in the game where you will have a full 8-character party. Everyone's going to be on the field. Everyone's going to be earning experience. And one of the things that they actually mention when you get to a point where you've got 6 characters is that you can pair characters together, and in doing so, allow them to swap between each other. And you can even swap. Oh no, that's in the other way. Sorry, you get a little lost.
Get a little ahead of yourself.
So you play 2 RPGs at the same time. That's what happens.
No, I definitely dig the art style for sure.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I mean, that's like a big selling point for me. Like if I see a screenshot of this, I don't even know the gameplay. I'm already attracted to the game.
Right, but at the core, it's still your standard turn-based fare. So at the very least, you've gotten in. You've got a way to actually sit down and actually start tinkering with the game and just get a feel for it before you start digging further into not just the story but also digging further into the mechanics. Working with your elements and working with your overdrive meter is going to be another huge point to deal with, or another huge point to keep an eye out for. Because as the fight goes on, your overdrive gauge will build up, and it'll go from yellow to an area that's green to an area that's red. What you want to do is manage your actions so that you can keep the overdrive gauge green. When it's in the green area, your team takes less damage, your team deals more damage. When you're in overheat, that's basically like being in burnout in Street Fighter 6. You're kind of setting yourself up to get screwed if you don't manage to actually move the gauge back to the green and the yellow. And doing so pretty much involves switching characters out. Or in the corner, there's actually going to be like a call out for a specific type of ability. And you'll notice the symbols that it's calling out because they're the ones that are listed next to the abilities on your list. So you use a matching skill within a certain number of turns, then you basically cool down the overdrive gauge. And again, that allows you to manage it going back and forth. But yeah, other than, here we go. Speaking of overdrive. But other than that, there's, again, when you actually sit down and go hands-on with it, there's a lot that you are going to, there's a lot that's going to look and feel familiar to you. So all that's left now is just solving the puzzle of actually putting it together.
Pretty sweet.
Now, if I was going to actually, I guess if I was going to actually describe this to someone to, hopefully sell to them, I'd say it basically feels like Chrono Trigger had a baby with Secret of Mana, but they tossed in a dash of Octopath Traveler and some Escaflowne.
So, pretty. If you're an RPG fan, or especially retro, that's a pretty easy comparison to get an idea what this game is.
And also, be advised, this story is, well, it doesn't quite go as far into the mature realm as, say, Final Fantasy 16, but there are definitely some mature themes that this game tackles, and even the political intrigue alone is going to keep you hooked, in addition to the gameplay. So this is one to definitely check out, and right now it is actually on sale. Let me go back and pull up my receipt here. There we go. Pull up the Yahoo Mail. So yeah, right now the game is currently on sale for $18.74. After tax, it'll come up to about $21.
Easy purchase if you're an RPG fan. Also, I think there was a very limited print of this game in like 3 different types of editions, but it was based off a European distributor. And so if you're looking for a physical copy, there is one. Technically, it's just hard to get because it wasn't technically released in the US. It's mostly Europe. Is it a European developer? Is that what?
Oh, there we go. I was waiting for Jagos to show up.
Yeah, actually, speaking of Jagos, the reason this game got highlighted into the podcast is because he was very active in our Discord, which you should join, by the way, if you haven't joined yet. And he's been posting and celebrating those games. So just sharing screenshots and talking about the game made us want to play it. So that's just how effective you joining Discord. Maybe you'll find some games that you've never played before, and other gamers like yourself will share their love. Oh yeah, it's definitely in Europe then if it's a German developer.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I mean that's that right there covers it for well, okay, there is one other thing that I need to talk about. And this is in regards to the sprite work in this game. Very rarely will you find a sprite-based game that conveys the kind of depth and sense of scale that you will see here in Chained Echoes. Even just as you're running around the town, as you're running around one of the towns, you see, the familiar tropes, the familiar buildings, the familiar sort of pathways. But then there's going to be a point where you get to the edge of the town, and as the sprites scroll and you get the parallax layer, you see all of the detail and just the illusion of distance that's conveyed in some of the art. It's astounding. But yeah, definitely one to pick up. And I believe even at normal, even at regular MSRP, this thing runs for, what is that, 25?
This would have been
24
easily a $60
$24.99.
game back in the 16-bit era. So,
and this bad boy came out in 2022.
cool. All right, what's the other one?
The other game that I've been, also losing my mind on was actually one that was brought up by one of my individual stream regulars, and that is Astria Ascending. Now, funny enough, I made a couple of mentions that I was actually playing the game, and I happened to catch the attention of the developers, and now they're following me on Twitter. Yeah.
Nice flex.
But the first thing that greets you when you boot up Astria Ascending is, again, a striking visual style. Just name one game off the top of your head that this reminds you of, just by looking at it.
Any Vanillaware game.
There you go. That's all.
Yep.
But yeah, it's not just the art style and the character animation, but the character designs very much harken back to George Kamitani's signature style, and the gameplay for Astria Ascending is also, again, some standard turn-based fare. So again, if you're looking to get into an RPG, you can do the basics. Jump in, use attack, get a feel for your characters. But each character in this actually has a starting class, and as you level up and as you progress through the game, you can unlock signature secondary classes in order to customize and beef up not just their stats, but also their gameplay flow. And
Insta by Jagos, the cat girl waifu.
Yeah. Yeah, there's of course, as you can see, there's a big burly beast dude that starts on your team. He's the mage. He's not a warrior. He's the mage.
About time they don't stereotype mages.
And yes, when you get to his hometown, you will see cat girl waifus. So
there you go. You got cat girl waifu right here. Cat girl waifu.
Oh my god. Oh, I can't.
Hey man, he's speaking to his crowd. He knows what they want.
Yeah.
But
Thirsty Tuesdays.
Speaking of one's crowd, though, as you'll notice,
speaking of one's crowd, keep going. Got my attention.
Once you start going through the dungeons, you will notice very quickly a lot of similarities to Valkyrie Profile, not just in exploration and traversal, but also in some of the puzzle solving too, because you eventually get your hands on different types of ranks. One of them, being the standard, shoot one of the enemy icons on the map and it freezes it. You can't use it as a platform, at least from what I've seen so far. But you can, at the very least, stop an enemy in its tracks so that you can jump over and bypass it and get someplace else. The basic story, just to give folks a little bit more of an in lore-wise. Your team are basically demigods. Every generation, a group of demigods are chosen, granted abilities, and are basically sent out to basically fight the monsters out there. Fight the monsters out there in the world and protect the world from devastation. Slight problem. Once you are granted those powers, you have 3 months to live. So basically, it's like you all of a sudden get injected with the super soldier serum. You become Captain America, but you got 3 months to make it rock. Otherwise, well, at the end of it, you're toast. but the urgency, it's that bit of urgency in the story that automatically helps raise the stakes, even from the starting dungeons, even as you're getting to know each of the characters, from the captain of the 333rd God Legion. From the captain, your main character Ulan, all the way, to the husband and wife summoner thief duo. Like it's the tropes that are used to actually, design and inform each of these characters is, again, just like the Chained Echoes, it's familiar, but it's treading new ground in familiar shoes.
This blue guy reminds me of that main character in Gran Blue. Gran looks like Gran.
Yeah, kind of grand, but almost annoyingly cocky. But funny enough, he is actually one of the characters that gets the martial artist subclass. Needless to say, once I get to that point where I unlock it with him, you're going to see some footage. It's like there is a brawler. I'm in.
So for someone who's not talking in general, one of the reasons we do this podcast is getting gaming out there, just to kind of chat, increase the community, and just kind of chat like what's available, what we love, what we don't. How would you sell us as someone who's not usually a fan of this kind of game, or maybe wouldn't take a chance on kind of something like this when they have so many other games in their library? Because as you know, we're coming up to the busier time of year for game releases. Even with GTA moving to next year, we just talked in the last couple of podcasts about there's a lot coming out now these next few weeks that are a little surprising. Where all of a sudden, that on the back of how well Silksong's doing and selling, beyond just the visuals here, give me a quick sales pitch.
Quick sales pitch?
Like you're behind the counter when you came to shop with us. You want to sell me on this game, but I only usually buy, Pokemon cards and I only play Dungeon Fighter Online. Why am I getting into this?
Well, why get into this? Well, it's simple. If you're looking for, something that's a little bit slower, something that allows you to actually plan out your tactics, but, still looks and plays and has, robust character classes like Dungeon Fighter Online, especially with the character advancements, then this will definitely be a good one to check out. On top of that, here's another thing that might grab you. Current sale price, $6.
Too much. That's a pack of Pokemon cards. I could get a Charizard with that.
You could get a Charizard. There's a chance you can get a Charizard. Or you could spend that $6, pick up Astro Ascending, have yourself a solid time, and have yourself a game that you can take at any pace you want.
What a sales guy. Sales guy.
Yeah, hey, this is why we do this, man. As you know, we used to work at video game stores. We've had to do this a lot and if someone comes in asking about a game and try to pitch it on them. Not always just to do the sale, but just kind of hey, I think you'd like this. So, I definitely want to lean into that what we can. So appreciate it, man. Thanks for the sales pitch.
Definitely. That's what it's all about, connecting gamers to games. So.
It's like I never dropped that conversation about how I got that guy hooked on binary domain. That's like my proudest moment working.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, whenever you can get someone to take a big chance on something way out there, and they just ended up loving it because it was exactly the vibe they were looking for, man, you can hang your hat on that.
All right, cool. All right, students. Well, I'm giving you guys some homework. Check out Chain Heroes. I mean, I think some of you guys already did the work, but but if you have already checked it out, check out Astria Ascending. If you want to check out a modern day JRPG, check them out, wishlist them, follow them, and then maybe they'll follow you back like Ace here, Mr. Superstar. But the question is, which one of these two would you play first if you have the opportunity? How about that? Answer that in chat. I would that's going to be a hard one. They're both equally good looking in their own way. But I guess it depends how nostalgia I want to be. If I want to be super retro, definitely Chain Echoes. But if I'm like, I like turn-based, but I want to like still modern, I'll probably pick Astria Ascending.
I tend to pick based on like what I've played lately to kind of cleanse my palate, because as someone who would like marathon through the Yakuza games and not recognizing that I need to take a break sometimes, to, like mix it up, I'd probably go for Astria Ascending, because I've just played a lot of 16-bit kind of like nostalgia bait games. Not to say it's baiting, but just like, you know, we're kind of picking if we go with Chained Heroes. Not to say I don't like it. It's just if I'm choosing between the two, I want to mix it up a little bit.
Of course.
That's fair. Totally fair. Totally fair. All right, Ace. Appreciate you, man. If in the chat, if you guys have any games you want us to feature on the show, you guys join our Discord, spam it like Jagos, and it'll eventually catch your eye, and we'll be like, all right, let's talk about this on the show. Because
it's like, all right, let's see what the hubbub's about, and the next thing you know, it's blown up.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. All right. Well, it is the segment of the show where everyone's been dying for. Or dying, I guess. Hey, where's my thing here? Where's my? I think I broke it. Hold on. Yeah, it's like it's all weird. What did I do? Unless that'd be funny if they updated this while we were streaming. Okay. I guess that will do for now. All right, this time.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, it's really weird. I'm like, where did their names go? And
don't give them any ideas.
Yeah, that was just really strange. Wait, hold on. Kind of is like. Okay. All right. Anyway, it's time for This Week in Gaming History. Hello and welcome back. This is part of the show where we talk about game releases and throughout time of video games. And this week is a doozy. So starting from September 7 all the way to September 13, let's go ahead and crack back the DeLorean and go back to gaming history. All right. First of all, the one that I wanted to feature the most is actually something I just recently played and beat. So I actually, just finished Marvel Spider-Man and all the DLC, and it's been a great ride. Specifically the PS4 version, because I want to make sure that you guys understand that there's different versions of this game depending which platform you're playing. What do I mean by that? PS4 version has the character model of Andrew Garfield in Spider-Man, but if you upgrade to the PS5, it switches to the Tom Holland model. So, and a lot of people don't know that, but they did make that update like secretly in the Spider-Man Remastered. But check that out; it's kind of fun. So, but if you're a Spider-Man fan, boy, howdy, you're in for a treat. I am 7 years late on this game. And it's kind of wish I played it like when it first came out, but it's still good. It's still great. It's for the $30 that I paid for the Game of the Year edition with the DLC, worth it.
Yeah,
100% worth it. Chad, if you played Spider-Man, let me know what your favorite moment was or your least favorite moment. I'd love to hear. But have you guys played this Spider-Man version?
Played it on release, and listen, I'm not the type to actually go hunting for platinum trophies. I just sit down, play it just to enjoy it. But Spider-Man had me so hooked that I just wanted to go ahead and just go through and get the platinum for it.
Yeah, Andre said the last great Spider-Man game before this one was The Amazing Spider-Man. I actually enjoyed that one too. That was the last one made by Activision. Mm-hmm. And the first one, because there was two of them, I really enjoyed the first one. It's like this, they took that game, refined it to they cranked it to 11, and we got this product, right? This is like the purest form of Spider-Man right here. So it's pretty good. The story is really good. Like it exceeded all expectations for me. So great job, Insomniac. Much appreciate that. So looking forward to Wolverine.
Wait, I definitely played this. It wasn't normally something on my radar because I don't usually play a lot of the superhero games myself. Yeah, crowded. There's way too many things to play, and it just was one of those ones where I was like, if I get time, I'll get around to it because I love Insomniac. I had a lot of fun playing Sunset Overdrive, which I believe is underrated, and
I agree.
Love Ratchet and Clank. That was one of the first games I bought for my PS5, so I love what this team does. And the thing that really struck me when I first saw it was honestly swinging around the city. They made it look great. And that's something that kind of like freedom of going around the city. What was it like? Spider-Man 2 on like the PS2, I want to say, was like one of the first ones where you could like really explore the city, and you got that feel for like Spider-Man protecting the entire city, not like, like straight down the hallway kind of gameplay or like just
not
missions.
levels.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I just remember how much that blew people's minds because I loved the like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies when they came out. It was a lot of fun for me. Going back and rewatching them, it's a little goofy, but I loved the games that came out alongside them. So when this came out, I was like, I'll try it out one day. I eventually got to it, and I was like, oh man, I should have tried it sooner.
No, I'm the same way. Like
well, hey man, it took you how many years to get into Mass Effect? Like, this is a pretty good turnaround for you on this release.
Yeah, I'm man. If you can just imagine what my backlog is, if I'm playing games that are 15 years late, 7 years late,
yeah,
like it's crazy. It's crazy. Chat.
Unless you're buying it on Steam, apparently, and then sometimes you'll never play it.
Yeah, you just collect them on Steam at that point.
Gotta buy them all.
Yeah, no, it's dude. This all I gotta say about this game is I can talk about it. It'll take me a whole podcast session to talk about it. It's just amazing. If you like Spider-Man, amazing. How I get it. And if you like Spider-Man, if you like big open world, if you want to have the best experience of a Spider-Man game, especially coming from an era where superhero games are hot trash, this is like, man, they finally figured it out with this character, right? With this character. So that's all I got to say about that. Okay, yeah, if there's nothing else about Spider-Man, let me talk about the other games that came out on the 7th. Like Final Fantasy 7. That came out on the PlayStation in 1997. That's crazy. Also, Final Fantasy 8 came out on the PlayStation in 1999, 2 years later. Kind of weird that they have the same release date. I think that's clever, but crazy. But think about this, chat. The sequel to Final Fantasy VII came out 2 years after. How long are games taking now to make?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like that should give you an idea how things have escalated, right? When it comes to dev and also the budgets. Anyway, Burnout 3 Takedown on the PS2 Xbox 2004. The legendary Pokemon Fire Red Leaf Green. That was like my favorite Pokemon on the GBA in 2004. Silent Hill 4 The Room came out on like a variety of different things in 2004, and an oddball game from Activision. And I want to hear Jagos and Andre's opinion on this game. Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions came out on a variety of consoles in 2010 as well. And I snuck in my personal game there of choice in 2010, Tom Clancy's Hawks 2.
Hawks.
Yeah. So if you guys are Ace Combat fans, not Tom Clancy fans, but Ace Combat fans, Tony Hawk's, Tom Clancy's Hawks 2 is a good budget title to play if you like air. But yes, Ace, I see a note here for Shattered Dimensions. I had this on my radar as well. It is on my backlog. I think that my copy is still sealed. So tell us more about it.
Oh, if your copy is still sealed, then you might want to try and find one to actually crack open.
Yeah.
That sealed copy is going to be worth money. But remember how we were talking about how Insomniac Spider-Man was, they finally figured it out for this character? I would dare say back on the PS2 and the PS3, between, the Spider-Man movie tie-in games, between Spider-Man Shadows, there were 2 Spider-Man games that that BDOX and Activision had just absolutely crushed it on. This right here is one of them, because this right here plays and feels like you're actually playing through like one of the classic trade paperbacks of Spider-Man, where you've got different Spider-Man from different dimensions joining together to save all reality before things really get messed up.
Yeah.
But in Shattered Dimensions, you've got your pick from 4 different Spider-Men voiced by 4 different well-known Spider-Man voice actors. So you got your classic Spider-Man, or your Amazing Spider-Man voiced by Neil Patrick Harris.
Nice.
let's see. Right now, we're watching Ultimate Spider-Man, who's voiced by Josh Keaton, who has been voicing the character in a lot of the animated series lately. Alongside Yuri Lowenthal voicing the games. Let's see. Spider-Man 2099 is actually voiced by the voice actor who portrayed Spider-Man back in the 1960s and 70s. So you'll get to hear his, sort of quirky take on a lot of the, futuristic slang and lingo that Spider-Man 2099 uses. And then you've got Spider-Man Noir, probably my personal favorite before, voiced by the classic Spider-Man from the 90s.
Nice. Shocker!
Now, Noir Spider-Man, just a little story tidbit that I was reminded of back when I was checking out the game a little bit just to get a refresher. But the way that Spider-Man Noir lost his Uncle Ben was messed up. Like, really messed up.
Was it a hit from the mob?
Yeah. It was a hit from the mob.
That was a guess, but okay.
The hitter? The Vulture. And the Vulture in Noir...
Light, my only weakness.
is a
Dracula.
Cannibal.
Oh, that makes sense, actually. That's pretty on point.
So, yeah, Vulture not only killed Uncle Ben, but, well, I'm sure you can guess where it goes from there.
Oh, did you make him with Uncle Ben's rice?
Oh, nice. Too soon.
Is it too soon?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
It's different.
This game came out 15 years ago.
Different dimension. Too soon.
Yeah, it came out 15 years ago.
You created an incursion in the timeline.
Oh no!
But each of the different Spider-Men has a unique play style and unique abilities. Like with Noir, you're definitely playing more of a stealth-based Spider-Man. You're hiding in the shadows. You want to stick to the shadows and keep the whole, sort of black and white filter on the screen. But once you're actually discovered, or once you step into the light, that's where you start seeing more color, and that's where, you basically have to not only make sure you can get back to striking from the shadows, or at least fighting in the shadows, but you gotta basically re-up your stealth. So it's Metal Gear Spider-Man.
Chop, I see you in chat talking about Noir getting a movie. You left out the best part. Who is going to be playing Spider-Man Noir?
Actually, the best part. Noir, Spider-Man Noir, Nicolas Cage.
Superman.
Like, soon as I saw that, I was just like, yes.
No, Uncle Ben, no. I'll get revenge on you, Uncle Ben.
Yeah, with classic Spider-Man, you've got the traversal, you've got the web slinging, the webbing, you got the more action, the more acrobatic fighting. Oh God, I forgot about this part.
Is this? I'm thinking I'm getting two games confused, but is this the one where like Spider-Man 2099 talks to Amazing Spider-Man, or is that a different one?
That's a different one. That's the one that technically comes after this one, Edge of Time.
Okay. Edge of Time. Okay. I remember there was like one more. That's right.
But when you're playing as Ultimate Spider-Man, as we were showing earlier, you're actually going through with the black suit. So you've got the symbiote that you're working with, and then of course with 2099, you've got the high speed, you got the verticality from the city, you got the drops and everything else. But I can talk all night about Spider-Man. Let's move on to the rest of history.
Is that Hawks?
Hawks too.
I was like, damn, I don't remember this in Spider-Man. That was pretty crazy.
After you beat up Vulture.
No, that's crazy. All right. Yeah, no. It's watching that game, I was like, it's not bad. So I think every generation of a console, there was a really good Spider-Man game, right? So I can't wait for technically, I guess Spider-Man 2 is the PS5's version of the best Spider-Man game. So whatever happens next, I'm super interested. All right. We went to the next day because we got more. Yeah, folks, that's right. Hydro Thunder was released on a Dreamcast in 1999 in September 8th. I've always why did I feature this out of all the games that were released? Well, one, this is the one that stood out the most because this was in arcades all the time, and Hydro Thunder reminded me of Wave Racer. So with a little bit of Cruising USA kind of attached to it, right? Or was it Cruising USA? No, it was like what's the super like racing game that was like Midway also? It wasn't Cruising, it was like something else.
Was it San Francisco Rush?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one where just your car just like tears apart because it's going so fast. So yeah, if we have any gameplay of Hydro Thunder, it'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, it's already up.
Yeah, here we go. Love it. That's for that looks like N64. So yeah, no, or it could be Dreamcast actually.
The water physics. The water physics.
I mean, look at the the text, the way it flashes and moves. That could only be Dreamcast.
I was looking at the frame rate.
Yeah, no, that's about right though.
Yeah, the frame rate. Yeah, honestly.
And there's so many polygons back in the day, man. There's so many. I mean, because the first thing I thought of when you pull this up is just like, oh man, it looks so much like Wave Race. And I just remember trying to figure out the barrel roll on the Wave Race, and then I got into this. Played this. I remember playing this in arcades though.
Yeah, this if Wave Race and Wipeout had a child, it would be this game, right? Because you guys remember Wipeout, the Sony like hovercraft game, right? So it kind of reminded me of this. I just love how Midway made these arcadey like racing games. I love that because they're just so video gamey. You know, you look at this menu screen. Look how video game it is.
What do you say? A video game as video game?
Yeah, video game as video game. This is a video game as video game. But yeah, check out Hydro Thunder. If you have a Switch, check out Cruisin'. Like it's called, I think it's just called Cruisin' now, right? They re-released the team that it's not Midway, but the team that did Cruisin' USA formed a new studio and created a new game called Cruisin', I think, which I have it on the Switch. That's like one of the racing games I have on the Switch. It's pretty good. Check that out. All right, pretty light day on the 8th. Only other 3 games that came out and that was highlighted was Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced on the GBA in 2003. Just because the Final Fantasy remake is about to come out, the Tactics remake is just about to come out soon here. Speaking of Vanillaware, Muramasa Demon Blade came out on the Wii in 2009. What a game to come out on the Wii. Definitely should have made it on the PlayStation.
I do like that game a lot.
Yeah. One of the few Vanillaware titles that got lost in the, because it's like releasing a game in the wrong console because of the player base is like different, right? But I think it eventually came out on the Vita, so check that out on the Vita.
It did come out on the Vita, yeah. I just remember seeing the cover art for this when it came out on Wii and just wanted to buy it just because of the cover art.
Yeah. And once again, like that's how I got attracted to Chained Echoes and Astria Ascending because of the artwork. So it's art and design definitely gets people to buy games or at least get interested in them. And another one of this that's guilty is Tales of Xillia, making it to the US, or actually releasing in Japan on the PS3 in 2011. Because I know we've chatted about that before. So there you go for the 8th. Yeah, it's super cool. I wouldn't mind a PS4, PS5 re-release of this. That'd be kind of fun.
I would be surprised if do they not have it on like just the network for you to buy, because you should be able to just play it.
I'm guessing it's on PSN Plus if you get like the high tier. But I don't know if it's just exclusively. I think Ace will check it out right now.
Hey man, if we're getting an update to Okami, I'd hope we get more games like this coming back. It's just the style, the art style. Yeah,
it'd be cool if we got Muramasa Demon's Blade Pro, how they did Dragon Crown Pro, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like pro version, because they even did Odin Sphere. They re-released Odin Sphere. If you think about it,
maybe chat wants to chime in. I don't know how much they did in sales for this. I can only imagine, because it's not still talked about in the same way. It didn't sell really well, so I'd imagine they wouldn't do something like that. But like you said, I'd be surprised if they didn't have this available on one of the subscriptions.
That's the crazy part, because the Wii had the largest player base.
Well, it had the biggest sales, but a lot of that was people buying, and I know for a fact, like I've sold so many families that wanted to play people like Grandma and Grandpa coming in. I know that Gramps is not probably sitting down and playing Muramasa the Demon's Blade, but that's judging. That's me
unless it's there. Grandpa Ichiro, you don't know.
Yeah, I looked it up and it's not on PSN.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there you go. Vanillaware, get on that.
It's gonna be some lost video games in history.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't leave their radar because Vanillaware games are very unique. I love them so much. So, all right, let's move on to the 9th here. The 9th's a pretty hefty one, guys, because the 9th celebrates the release of not one but 2 consoles, the PlayStation and the Dreamcast, coming out on the same day but different year, 4 years apart, cousins from a different mother. Technically Sony versus Sega at this point. This was the answer to the Saturn, right? Hey, you guys beat us in that era. Now we have the Dreamcast. Now we're gonna kick your butt. So that's kind of, and Dreamcast comes at a really weird time from my experience because I honestly think the Dreamcast was a superior system over the PS2, right? But the PS2 just had the library. And and we all know that the Dreamcast came out at a time where like piracy was like top tier. People were making burn CDs everywhere like during this time. So that was kind of rough for the Dreamcast. But I would argue the Dreamcast has the coolest system, the coolest peripherals. I'm not a big fan of the controller, but like the little Tamagotchi thing you got with it, the memory card, whatever.
The VMU.
Super cool idea.
So cool.
And just like, I don't know, it feels like a solid system, right?
It's funny you mentioned that because I saw some posts on Twitter earlier about a company that was actually like doing sort of a rebuild of the Dreamcast controller, but with the VMU, like with the VMU component built into it, instead of it being a separate cartridge, and cool. Actually having a color LED.
It's color like you always have the VMU inside it, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's pretty cool actually. And I would have had a blast if, like, I know that the Dreamcast controller was like an offshoot of the weird Saturn controller. There was like a Star Trek looking controller, the Enterprise controller is what I called it. But the OG Saturn controller, like the Batarang, like the Sega Genesis controller, would have been so sick with a VMU in it. Not using this version, because if you guys can pull up, or maybe one of you guys can find it, or I can share it, was that old Saturn controller. Let's see, your Saturn controller. Was it? Oh, with analog sticks. Yeah, it's this one, the Saturn 3D controller. You guys can have it. And unless somebody has a video of it too, I'll share it as well. But you can tell this was inspired by that controller versus the Batarang controller, which was my preference. I love the Batarang controller. 6 buttons too.
Definitely would have preferred the Batarang, or hell, something like the Batarang, but taking some cues from the PlayStation controller.
See, looks even like the placement of like the sticks. You can tell it was inspired by this controller because it's 3D, right?
Yeah.
So
I can see that, and then it still has the classic like 6 button setup on it.
Correct. Yeah. So that's why I was like kind of disappointed with the Dreamcast controller, because I had that controller, the 3D controller, and I was like, it feels okay, right? But then like the Dreamcast one just felt really awkward in comparison to this one. And I also think it's the type of games you were playing, right? So if you're playing like a shooter, it's so awkward to play versus like.
Yeah, for me, it was with the 3D controller was that like joystick pad thing that he's playing with right now in the video. I didn't like the way that felt. It didn't feel like it was very precise. I liked the Dreamcast controller in theory. I like the way it felt in my hands. I love the VMU, like you said, the little Tamagotchi inspired kind of little window that you got there. I thought that was awesome. I didn't like not having dual analog. That having one joystick and then doing like the N64 buttons for aiming, like anytime you have to do aim and move, man, I just could not get into those games.
There you go. That's funny because like we never really look into this until we like see it next to each other like that. You're like, oh, kind of like how I tell everybody that the Switch is just the half of the Wii U, and they're like, what? You're crazy. I'm like, no, look at it. Trust me. They took a bunch of Wii U's and rehashed it into a Switch. But yeah, congratulations, PlayStation 30-year anniversary, I think, and then the Dreamcast for your 26th anniversary. Yeah. That's awesome. You guys are big part of our childhood. I hope I see more things from Sega with the Dreamcast. I know right now in limited run, they have a bunch of Dreamcast accessories you can buy. Like they have a nice Dreamcast like loot box that comes with a variety of different Dreamcast like paraphernalia, contraband, let's just say. So check that out if you can. But yeah, the other games that came out on the 9th, it's gonna be a few of them. So my one of my favorites that probably no one knows about is a little game called Battle City on the Nintendo in 1985 in Japan. Only came out in Japan. It was a little tank game that was like in this little maze, and you shot other tanks. And yeah, you can like shoot through walls and stuff like that. So it was pretty fun. Gunstar Heroes on the Genesis in 1993. Crash Bandicoot also came out in 1996 on the PlayStation. Parasite Eve in 1998 on the PlayStation. Spyro came out in 1998 on the PlayStation. This was the year for that PlayStation, 1998. They probably had to release all these games before the Dreamcast came out. Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast in 1999. Resident Evil Outbreak File 2. Shout out to that game because of the new game coming out on the PS2 in 2004 in Japan. Little game called Yakuza 2 on the PS2 in 2008.
Maybe you heard of it.
Yeah, maybe you've heard of it.
Yeah.
Destiny also came out in 9/9 in 2014. Splatoon 3 on the Switch came out in 2022, and most recently Bubsy in the Perfect Collection came out on a variety of different things this year. Just came out actually. So
don't shake your head, Ace.
The fact that we got a Bubsy game in 2025 is like, that wasn't on my list. I'll tell you that. Right?
Yeah, of all the like older franchises and stuff that we could potentially see like an update to or see like come back out and really capture the nostalgia, wasn't Bubsy.
Yeah. Was not Bubsy. Was not Bubsy.
And have a Tomba game to look forward to. Still blows my mind.
Maybe Arrow the Acrobat, but Bubsy, bruh. Gex, I understand Gex. Right, Gex has personality, but Bubsy, bro, I don't know.
We need Arrow the Acrobat and a return of the Twisted Tales of Spike McFang.
You know what they need? They need a Smash game with all those characters in it.
Bro.
That's what I'm saying. All these like all these has-been characters in the game. That'd be awesome. All right, next 9/10, September 10th. I chose Killzone Mercenary on the Vita in 2013 because, wow, no one probably played this game because for a variety of different reasons. The first reason is the first thing you'll see when you see Killzone Mercenary. It doesn't play like a Killzone game. Did you guys know that?
I did because I had to test it on a Vita.
You have it up on the screen, Nick?
Pulling it up shortly, getting past some of the...
Okay. But yes, the first thing that you'll notice with this game is that it is not a first-person shooter. It's actually an isometrical, like, tactical shooter, right? Yeah, see? Ace is like, what are you talking about? I agree. I was kind of the same. This was the era when I was like, yo, Killzone's so sick. Like, I love it. I think Killzone 3 was also kind of like out in the middle of this. This isn't Mercenary. No, I was thinking about the PSP one. Never mind. I'm stupid. Which one's the PSP one? Because I remember playing that one, not this one. My bad, guys. I got a lot of games confused. But the reason why I chose this one too, Liberation.
Yeah.
I've been playing Helldivers 2 as the Hellgas armor, and I kind of missed their iconic look, right? So I think. And I don't know if we're going to be getting a Killzone game anytime soon, especially with Guerrilla being so popular with Horizon. So, maybe down the road, maybe it's their panic button. We don't know, right? But do they have a reason to?
Oh, I forgot about the swipe controls. When you're going to the kill, you have to swipe across the Vita screen with the touch screen.
Yeah, I remember that. The thing that I was frustrated about this game, because I do remember, I own this game, is there was input lag when it came to aiming, so you couldn't like snipe properly because when you tap it, it'd be like the delay, then you'd overshoot and you'd keep doing that, and you couldn't aim properly. And as much as I tried to change the sensitivity on the Vita pad or the Vita stick, it's not good. It was not a hardware issue. It was definitely like a developer issue for the input lag. So I don't remember it being fixed for a while, which is Call of Duty box screen, what we're looking at here. That's interesting. But yes, other games that came out on the 10th, King of Dragons in the arcade in 1991. That's a very important one. I like that one a lot. Echo the Dolphin coming out on the Dreamcast called Defender of the Future in 2000. Another Tales game, Tales of Eternia on the PlayStation in 2001. I don't remember that one, so I'm glad that I found that. Battlefield 1942 on the PC came out in 2002. Mario Maker on the Wii U in 2015. Blasphemous coming out on everything in 2019. And another Tales game, Tales of Arise, coming out on everything in 2021. So it was pretty good day. Pretty good day. Because give us some kind of kill zone. I guess like Helldivers skins is pretty cool. Like I'll take that. All right, never forget 9/11 Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection coming out PC, PS4 in 2024. It's already been a year. I feel like this game just came out, but I'm really thinking about the second one, right? But I honestly feel this game just came out, like not that long ago. Mm-hmm. But it's been a year already. That's crazy how fast time flies. I wanted to spotlight this one because this one here is something that everybody was asking for the longest time. And Capcom, I don't know how they made it happen. I thought they had no relationship with Disney anymore and Marvel, right? But somehow somebody I don't know, could have been sales, could have been a suit, right? Came out there and was like, we need to make this thing happen. And Marvel was like, oh, let's do it. This is not an easy feat. And and we talked about it where most devs and most producers and directors usually end up having like drinks over to make things happen like this, right? Yep. So I'd love to be a fly on the wall on how this thing ever came to happen. I would love to hear the story behind this one. Gonna take you for a ride? Yeah, definitely. They took us for a ride in a spin, and this thing is hefty. It even included the Punisher beat 'em up in this collection. So if you want a Marvel collection from the Capcom era in the 90s and the late 2000s, this is a must buy. This is a must to add in your collection. So,
what's your favorite in the collection?
I mean, easily it's Marvel 2. But here's the thing: I don't play Marvel 2 a lot. I've been playing Marvel versus Capcom. I think to me that was the most fair Marvel versus Capcom on all of them. I mean, there's X-Men versus Street Fighter, or Street Fighter versus Marvel superheroes. Out of those, that one was my favorite to play, even though I think the roster was the weakest. So, what about you guys?
I don't have the collection yet, but out of all the games in there, though, personal favorite, gotta give it to X-Men versus Street Fighter.
Yeah, that's technically the first one to ever come out in the Versus series. They did include Marvel superheroes in it too, the OG, mm-hmm. And
Children of the Atom.
And Children, dude. See, all of them are in it, and you can play the English or the Japanese version. You can play the hacked version too. You can play the unpatched version with infinites. It's crazy how much love they put into this thing. And it has rollback netcode. If you're an arcade rat like I was, like this is for you, right? This is why a lot of like gamers around our age ask for this, is because they know how popular these games were. Hell, Michael B. Jordan was like re-released Marvel vs. Capcom 2, and they listened to Michael B. Jordan. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan, and they released this game, right? So he put it on Twitter, release Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Disney cowards. Killmonger fought for us. Remember that, kids. Killmonger fought for us. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. All right, so some of the games to note: Digital Devil Story, Megami Tensei on the Nintendo in 1987. I didn't know that started on Nintendo. I thought it started in the PlayStation era. That's cool. My personal choice on this, and Nick, if you have what do you call this? I know you have Punisher up right now. If you have a video of Axlay on a Super Nintendo in 1992, pull that up. That's one of the more unique titles from Konami, and we've never heard anything from Axlay from a long time. One of the most unique shoot 'em ups in that era. Breathfire 3 also on the PlayStation in 1997 in Japan. Silhouette Mirage on the Saturn 1997. These are really obscure like Japanese titles coming out in the US. Drakengard coming out on the PS2 in 2003 in Japan. A fun little game called Double Dragon Neon, right? The love for Double Dragon coming back in a PS3 in 2012. And I wanted to put the Crew Motorfest here, came out on everything in 2023 because I think that's one of the games that you can no longer play, right?
At one point, it was a game you could no longer play, but apparently, fans have already put in the work to bring it back.
Yeah,
so
like
I'm maybe seeing the Crew again pretty soon.
Yeah, and I know that was the one that kind of caught in the news because like they were like, I can't play my game anymore because you guys decided to discontinue it because it's online only, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to bring that up. But yeah, you guys ever heard of Axley on a Super Nintendo?
I only recognize the cover art.
Yeah, right. And it had like it definitely had like a metal, like very metal Contra 3. This and it was weird because like I think they were trying to separate itself from Gradius because Gradius is a Konami IP. But nothing came out of Axley. Like this was like one of the actually I thought it was super fun. Graphically it looked great. Gameplay wise, it was very unique.
This is dope.
I was gonna say like the lead up to this, the very beginning of this video. Shout out to SNES Guide for having the video on this, but there's like a full on story as opposed to Gradius. Like you've got family dying from an alien invasion. You watch them like coming in over the cities, like people freaking out. Like that's way more in depth than you got for a lot of these like shmups back in the day.
Yeah, well, they just put you into the to the world, right?
Right. Or it reminds me of like Life Force and stuff. I'm like, cool aesthetic, but like this has like a full on story.
So what was cool about this one, from what I remember, so you see you have 2 lives in the upper left there. So your lives is actually your damage on ship. So like when you get hit once, your ship will start smoking, and you lose 1 life, right? But if you lose another one, they'll start to be on fire. Then eventually, if you get hit one more time, you just blow up. So I thought that was unique for lives in this one because before it was just 1 shot, you die, and then you kind of respawn in a location. So Axley here's the thing: the lore that I built as a kid for Axley, you can tell I have a little I'm a little connected to this game, was when Red Falcon was invading in the Contra 3 Alien Wars. This was I don't know, Ace disappeared. This was their answer to there you go.
No, Ace did.
Sorry, I had to refresh, but man, you had to bring in Red Falcon though.
Yeah, this was their answer. This was the US's like response to Red Falcon invading. Like Earth is like already doomed, right? And Contra is like trying to fight back on Earth. But like these guys are like a different branch of the military, and they like we're gonna go attack them now. Like this was my childhood lore that I built in my head.
I didn't know, but like it's the person who did the soundtrack, the OST for this, because a lot of people I'm seeing comments of like Google searches, people saying like this has one of the best OSTs on Super, especially for this kind of game. Was Taro Kudo, who also did Super Castlevania 4 soundtrack and did some writing as well.
Yep. I don't remember that as a kid, but I do recall it just having an awesome sound. It was good, everything graphically sounded good, felt good to play. Here's the thing, like there's a button for the shot, but there's also a button for missiles. When you're a kid, you're like, wow, I have my designated missile button. That's cool, and that's a small thing that I appreciate.
I mean, it may seem like a small thing compared to like I remember on 64 it was like Star Fox being able to hit the button to drop the bombs, right? Yep. But you have to remember this was SNES. Like this was much sooner.
And look at this thing. This thing is crazy, man. I love it. It just looks cool. Like I love it. And I wish. And actually, if you fast forward a little bit, there's actually a mode that is horizontal as well. I think it's not always. Yeah, there it is. So it wasn't just one direction, right? You had horizontal and vertical as far as modes. Because I know this one would be like, oh, it's just like R-Type. Right, but R-Type does not have the vertical scaling of Axley,
or the ability to like move where you're shooting, like back and forth as well. Like
yeah, that's true.
The angles along the side, back. Like there was a couple times there where he was surrounded at the very beginning. And he just swung the guns around while they were still shooting. I think that's pretty unique.
Yeah, that's. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Normally, like your weapons are homing. In this case, it's directional. Like you have the ability.
Looks like he's shooting Dr. Mario pills.
Yeah, I think this one was just called Vulcan, and like You only had 3 weapons technically in this game, as you can see in the upper right hand corner. But you had 3 weapons with 3 different modes for each weapon, which is interesting. Like one of the weapons that you can swap instead of that like fireball was like a homing laser, which is super cool, or I call it the homing needle or something. But yeah, check that out, guys. If you guys are in the mood for a shoot 'em up and you have a retro,
hey, try something new.
Check it out. Axley. All right. Next one here. All right. Well, we talked about this game before. Steel Battalion coming out on the Xbox in 2002 with the funky, crazy controller, right? Haven't played it. I've had no desire in 2002 to play this game. I just remember seeing the super expensive $300 controller setup, and I was like, I'm too poor to play that game. Definitely can't play that game. But man, Ace, have you either of you guys, aside from just testing out the games in the store, played this? No, like
this one, yes. Sorry.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Answering text, someone talking about it. No, for me, it was one of those. A buddy of mine had it. I remember back in the day playing like MechWarrior 1 and 2 on the PC, so I was really interested when this came out for Xbox, not just because of the ridiculous controller, but just to see like if you could actually live that mech kind of fantasy kind of thing. I don't know if you two remember a game that came out. God, it was a while ago on PC. Shoot. I can't remember the name now. It was another mech game. There's very few mech games that make you really feel like you're in it, like the big kind of clunky metal thing with all the firepower at your fingertips. This felt like it. It did feel super restrictive because of the price, but man, you definitely felt like you were living that, and you felt like you were in it, and especially when you have that giant pad there with the big caution button in the upper right. Like, flip that thing up, hit that button. Oh, man, I loved it. I don't remember it being super fantastic, but it's been a long time since I played it. Yeah. Maybe I was just turned off by the fact that it just seemed really like esoteric with all these buttons. I don't know.
They were definitely trying to give you the best experience for, like the real mech experience, right? So I get what they were coming for. I think, but it just, and I get why it's expensive because it's super unique. But like having a controller for just one game is pretty rough. Like maybe if they had released like 2 games with this or 3 games with this, like specifically for that controller, or like
I feel like sequel. Like looking at this again, I remember we played this on my buddy's, like he had a 60-inch TV, which was like the biggest TV we'd seen, like of all of our friends. And I think that was the only thing that really sold it, because just watching on this little screen, I can already feel claustrophobic with like how little viewpoint you get in this. So it's probably one of those things that, like, at least for me, again, just watching this now, the benefit of hindsight, a lot of people wouldn't be into this. Not just because of the controller, but just like the way that this looks and feels. I don't know about you, Ace. Did you say you played it?
No, I hadn't. And
does this sell you on it?
Not really, no. This is definitely one that I'd probably try it out if it were on a larger TV. But yeah, that feeling of claustrophobia I'm getting just from this is just like, no, I'll go back to Armored Core, thanks.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, something like Armored Core, or just like I said, the MechWarrior games. Hawken was the game I was thinking about. I remember that. Gosh, that was pretty early on in PAX when I played it before.
That's probably like, I remember playing that on PlayStation, probably like 2013, 2012. No, later, like 2015, probably.
I remember playing it on PC early on, like I want to say PAX 12, PAX 13.
Yeah,
like a long time ago. Let me look it up. I'm going to forget now. I remember it had some issues and it had to re-release.
So yeah, I had my own
2012 on Windows, and then 2016 Xbox One, and 2016 on PS4. But nonetheless, Steel Battalion. What the heck?
I'm trying to see if this is the right one. I don't think this is the right one.
Escaped. Yeah, not really lighting the world on fire. Seeing that combat back there. Ooh. Waving their hands like, no, I'm good. I don't know, man. It's another one of those ones where you look at it and it's like there's other games that I feel do it better.
Yeah, it's the novelty of the controller.
You gotta really love mech games to invest. Like this is also on just the Xbox, right?
Yeah.
So they were probably like, I'm assuming the thought process of it was people love Flight Simulator, Xbox, Microsoft. They related that in some way or form. They were
was just gonna say it feels like a sim title more than anything.
Yeah.
Hyper realism. You're playing it for the realism. This is what you wanted. Nerd, take it.
Chuck Yeager's.
It's kind of like the. Oh, sorry. What's up?
No, go ahead. I'm looking for something.
I was just gonna say it just reminds me of like the push there for like Forza Motorsport when they came out. Like the simulation of Forza Motorsport 1 versus like the arcade games at the time. It was their answer to Gran Turismo, but like you'd almost rather, unless you were like a car enthusiast and really wanted the simulation, you're playing like Project Gotham instead or Burnout, stuff like that.
Okay, so this is the one I actually owned. So I didn't have Steel Battalion, but I actually had the Ace Combat 5 Collector's Edition, which came with a flight stick as well, and it came in 2 pieces. So that's
because it had a thrust as well, didn't it? It had the flight stick and then the thrust.
Yeah, so the right one was like your flight stick, and then where he's gripping on the left, it's not a stick, it's just a thrust, like that. What he's doing right there. So, that was like, oh, it's my time to shine. It's not as expensive, and I like Ace Combat, right? So it was pretty cool, and I don't even know if I even have it anymore. It's probably like I probably sold it on eBay a long time ago. But kind of miss those like obscure controllers, right? But now we're just getting statues and other like weird things.
Maybe one of our episodes, what we can do is just like a throwback to the most obscure controller types. You can use this as a springboard. We've already talked about it enough, so we won't talk about it again. But there should be some pretty fun ones out there. Just like anytime we get like the random controller that gets traded in at the store, and you're like, "What the hell is this thing?"
there's the Thrust Master right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was just like a really
the thing is that those definitely still sold. We would sit on them for a while in store, but at some point someone would come in and just buy it. They were looking specifically for it.
You definitely get that one guy that was like, give me all this, and you're like, finally someone's buying his trash. I mean good stuff.
Trash. I'm sick of wiping the dust off this.
Like that one. Okay, let's move on. But like that one kid that was like, let me buy all your DDR games and get all your pads. Oh, I love you. Thank you. Take on all, on the Wii. So that's the part. Some other games that came out on the 12th. Intro to today's show, Adventure Island, came out in 1986 in Japan on Nintendo. Phantasy Star Online Episode 1-2 on the GameCube. I remember seeing that box art. Super cool. 2002 in Japan. Super rare game called Rule of Rose on the PS2. If anybody owns Rule of Rose, I think it's like $400 now. I think. And Shadow of the Tomb Raider on PS4, on Xbox One in 2018. Check out Rule of Rose, guys. All right, last one. Burnout Revenge coming out on September 9th or 13th. Can't read. One of the coolest Burnout games out there. I love Burnout 2, but Burnout Revenge is where it's at. Why it is where it's at, especially if you have it on the 360. Because PS2 had some online broadband play, but it wasn't really known for that. 360 was where it's at. I think it was Revenge, right? I think it had come out Revenge. But the unique thing about Burnout, if you play Burnout, and I know like Ace will talk about this here in a second, and I'll just wait for him to talk about Burnout. Other games that came out on the 13th, Dino Crisis 2. We talked about the first one last time on the PlayStation in 2002 in Japan. Ace Combat 4, Shattered Skies, like what I showed you the flight stick there in 2001 Japan. Capcom versus SNK 2, shout out to the collection again on the Dreamcast and PS2 in 2001 in Japan. Urban Reign, a little beat 'em up there called Urban Reign that nobody played because it was overshadowed by all these other games on the PS2 in 2005. White Knight Chronicles 2 on the PS3 in 2011. One of the best-selling 3DS games out there, Super Smash Bros. 3DS, coming out in 2014 in Japan. Keiji Inafune's attempt at a video game for Xbox, Recore on the PC and on Xbox One in 2016. A lot of people don't remember that game. I'm not surprised. And also, shout out to Borderlands 3 coming out on everything in 2019. So, Ace, tell us why Burnout Revenge is the best Burnout game ever.
Where do I begin? Well, let's start with the simple fact that it had a killer lineup of licensed music. So if you wanted to hear, stuff from everyone from Ozzy Osbourne to Avenged Sevenfold, just turn on the radio in Burnout Revenge and just go. And I've streamed this game multiple times. I will do so again in the future. But if you're looking for just a great arcade style racing game with different events, everything from your standard races to what you've got here, Traffic Attack, where you literally get a high score for how many vehicles you hit and knock into other vehicles.
Video games.
Just be careful. You don't want to run into semis and buses because those will take you out.
God, it was so good.
I'm okay. This is Criteria, right? Do they even exist still?
I don't think they do.
Because EA buys studios and they kill them.
Mm-hmm. But one of the big things that Burnout Revenge does, though, that Burnout Revenge did to separate itself from previous games in the series, was the whole revenge gameplay mechanic. Like when you are racing against other cars, when you're doing I forget what kind. When you're doing stuff like the Eliminator and the Crash Breaker events, well, the Eliminator especially, if there is a rival car that takes you out, you are incentivized to go back and get that lick back. But what's better is that if you take enough damage or if you wind up getting into a crash, you get to trigger the Crash Breaker, which is literally a built-in explosive in each type of car that does varying amounts of damage or has varying amounts of impact based on the kind of car that you're driving.
Man, this is just pure adrenaline. It was one of those games. Yes, I remember when it came out. I already loved Burnout anyway, but it turned the dial right where it needed to just really embrace what made it great and made it fun to play. It's just even watching this right now, you can't even see the road half the time, and you're just
a blur,
ping-ponging cars all over the place. And then, like you said, banger of a soundtrack. If you look at this OST, you have stuff from all over the place, but you're gonna remember stuff I remember hearing Junkie XL for the first time, the Today song, just because of this game. And now I listen to that artist regularly. OK Go was on here. You had some throwbacks to stuff like The Doors, Yellow Card, Chemical Brothers, LCD Sound System, CKY, Block Party, Mindless Self-Indulgence, Avenged Sevenfold. Definitely of the era, but some really specific throwbacks too. It's a really good soundtrack for the times.
Mm-hmm. And also one other thing that this does, one of the things that this has that I don't think any of the other games since then did was, like I mentioned earlier, the Crash Breaker events, where it's literally like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Where you determine where you can launch your car to do the most damage, cause the biggest pileup, and then trigger your explosive to do even more damage.
This is probably why mobile games have taken off, because there was very few games back in the day that I would sit down and really try to get full stars on a specific map until Burnout Revenge, and then I kept replaying it to try to get the best score I could get to make sure I got all the unlocks, because this game got me addicted. So I could get all the stars. So now mobile games nowadays, it started here for me. I got addicted to this, where I had to keep playing this, I had to go back and replay the level, try to get the higher score to unlock the new content. They packaged it in such a great way.
If it's designed fun, why not? I mean,
if you build it, they will come.
Yeah, if it made it, when you're playing a game over and over again and it doesn't feel grindy, you're still enjoying yourself. I think they did a great job.
So, 2 called out because we were talking about it before. Criterion Games is still around. However, after they were sold off, they got shifted. A lot of their team got shifted to other projects. Nowadays, they are supporting Battlefield, and they just got formally shifted and changed the name to Criterion, a Battlefield studio, in August of this year. So, just happened.
Oh,
Well, hopefully, like they pull something where they're like, I have a little project that I've been working on. You know.
Well, for a while there, they were working on the Need for Speed series, but they
Yeah.
kept getting pulled over back to Battlefield as like a support studio. They did work on. It looks like the last one they really worked on was Unbound using the Frostbite engine. Which didn't have a lot of play, but yeah, no, they're Battlefield 6. They're Battlefield now.
Okay. Yeah, check it out, Chad. If you guys want to try out a really cool racing game, this is. And then check out Ace's videos on Burnout. He's been streaming this for a while. I do want to add, there was on the 360 version of this game, and Ace didn't mention this, but if you were playing this online and someone had disrespected you by crashing you, the next time you log on and they were on, you can join their game right away.
Look, man, I also miss those things.
I only had this on the PS2, so I didn't know.
Yeah, that's why it was revenge. Like your members who crashed you, and if they're online, you can join their game.
It was like the early Nemesis system.
Yeah,
and then it called it out. It called it out too when you took them out. Like I completely forgot about like the takedown cam, but it'll tell you when you take out like your rivals and stuff, or the guy that took you out before. Like it's very. It feels good. It feels good in your brain.
It's on the PS2, but it's with other live players on the 360.
Yes. It will say like GQAzndood's online. Join their game, and you join it, and you're one of the cars in this game. Yeah, and then like I think when you crash, them, it'll say like something funny like "Remember me?"
Just surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah, no, literally it was like that. It incentivized you to log on, find the people that that crashed you, and you crash them back. It's revenge. Literally great mechanic.
And it made it awesome to like take out people in specific areas. Like it just happened in this video a second ago. You take them out in the alley and it just pops up alley oops. It's just like
exactly.
Yes.
Love it.
The signature takedowns for each area or something else.
It's like some of them it's like you can totally tell this is crash somebody out, and so they have a specific like for that. Or sometimes it's just like a certain situation. So, yeah, but that was like one of the biggest features on the 360 version that I like, because I had this game on 360, which when you log on, you pop on, and then like it'll say like so and so is playing Burnout. Which like when you log on to Burnout Revenge, it'll tell you have like a list of people that like these are the guys that crashed you, and you can join that game right away. And I'm like, I want to kill them.
That is great.
Yeah, so, we call it like maybe they should call it like Burnout Vengeful in the next one. That'd be kind of fun. So. Anyway, chat, that is your week in gaming history. Yeah.
Sorry,
All right, we got some. Yeah, what?
Just a real quick pop culture note, though, because this not only was this week in gaming history huge, but this week in TV history was huge. With all of the different afternoon lineups that premiered on September 7th through the 9th, that week back in like 1995, 1990. I mean, the Kids WB lineup started in 95 on this day.
Okay. Was it the Saturday morning one or no?
Yeah, that was the Saturday morning.
Okay.
So that was the shows like Pinky the Brain, Freakazoid, but actually, yeah, Kids WB and the Fox Kids lineup started as well.
Like Recess and shit? No, that's Nickelodeon, right? Yeah.
No, I'm talking like Tom and Jerry Kids.
Oh my God. Oh, going way back. I'm too old. Can't remember.
But no, like the first week of September is just that week. Fall is here. School is back in session. Here's your TV for when you get home and you're doing your homework.
Mine was Animaniacs. I go home and watch Animaniacs while doing my homework. So that's why I know all these corny jokes.
And also why you can name all of the countries in the world.
Yeah, that's not true. I didn't listen to that part.
Okay.
You
didn't know you just weren't listening. Then yeah, you're not going to remember that.
But yeah, all right. Take us to some. I got a new song for you. Take us to some quick bites and a little bit of the rumor mill. See what's going on in the world here for Give the Game News. I love that tune.
If you're on our Discord, you'll know that lately a lot of our great people here in chat have been posting all kinds of great news stories. Definitely check us out there as well, just because you'll keep across everything that's coming up. Obviously, Silksong is doing gangbusters. We know it's doing great. We know there's a lot of hype for Battlefield 6. Also, we also found out that Lost Soul Aside has been in development for 10 years in development hell. So there's a lot going on. But for this week, what we decided to do for the story was just have a couple quick bites of some bigger thing that's happening, as well as talk about a game release that's coming up very soon that I'm excited about. So a little more focus this time around and a couple questions for the audience. So keep listening, stay tuned. We'd love to hear what you think. First and foremost, gotta ask, would you rather watch a Mario 64 blindfold run or Dark Souls no-hit run? Either of those sound interesting to you?
Both, but Dark Souls for me.
I've seen some Dark Souls no-hit runs. Those can get pretty bad. And I mean, hell, even watching Oliver do his, no out of bounds, no glitch speed runs on Dark Souls.
Are you guys pretty big fans of like speed running in general, just to kind of see what people do with these games? Super exciting.
I check out GDQ. Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. I'm glad you brought up GDQ, my man, because that's what we're talking about for the first little bit of news. Their new event is going to be running until September 14th to raise money for a charity with speedruns led by women and femmes called Flame Fatales 2025. So GDQ consistently brings like the gaming community together, like for really good causes every single time. So we definitely want to highlight it. Speedrunning is really a craft, right? You talk about what makes a good speedrun, whether it's strategy, optimization, or just like using insane glitches. Watching like the original Mario speedruns as I see them like glitch through, or like the little shortcuts that I remember that you'd pass around with your friends. It's really cool to see that like on a stage and being called out, but again, for a good cause. So showcase standout games for the event so far. Maybe there's a Tears of the Kingdom or Hollow Knight run to highlight. You might want to check it out, but compare the vibe of this one with regular GDQ events. More inclusive, more personality driven. We're trying to shine a light on some different personalities that are bringing it out. So check it out, see what you think, but just really think about it. There's some really good speedruns out there, and I mean, a no-hit run, pretty crazy. Just to jump a little bit further up, just to maybe bring up some more of like the law side of things. So Karnataka High Court delayed a ruling on whether skill-based online games should be classified under gambling laws. We've talked a little bit in the past, and people are no stranger to like loot boxes. Do you think loot boxes should be treated like gambling? It's effectively that for a lot of arguments, but what do you two think?
I mean, I've seen both. I've seen examples from both extremes as far as like how loot boxes should be handled and how they shouldn't be handled. Like what, effectively what makes it more of, these loot boxes are literally here just to, get people to keep pulling, keep spending, and, also, really aiming it more towards the younger crowd.
Well, we know companies do have a big interest in this. We talked about before how microtransactions have overrun like PC gaming and how much like that takes up the entire market in terms of like overall sales. So you got to ask, where do you draw the line between skill and chance in gaming, and how does it tie into stuff like gambling? So kind of think about it. Could stricter regulations like reshape how companies monetize globally? Like if this comes down where they're going to classify these under gambling laws? Because the impact on mobile and PC gaming in regions like India, where this high court's located, free-to-play dominates there. It's huge. It's a huge market. Mobile, as we know, is huge. So could these online games be classified under gambling laws moving forward, and how is that going to affect everything?
My feeble gaming brain tells me this. If you can classify a crane game as gambling, right? Because it's skill based, what they call it, right? And then I would say the depending on the way the game is laid out is said gambling, because like the difference between gambling, I think, is your chance to get it, your chance to get your prize. But if it's skill based, where there's a chance for you to get it without having to, there's an opportunity for you to get the thing that you want specifically without any randomization. That is skill based. But if it's strictly based on randomization, on as the result, I think that's gambling 100%.
Yeah,
Right?
it's something. It's something we're gonna have. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Ace.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that right there actually, I think that articulated a hell of a lot better than I was trying to do that.
check what he said.
Yeah, because I mean, best example for something that would be skill based, but still has a little element of RNG. The relic system in Warframe. With the relics, you've basically got a chance at you've basically got a chance at unlocking items that sure, you could save yourself some time by buying Warframe sets, but if you actually do decide to go through and grind for the relics, there are ways in the game not just to earn it, but also to increase your chances, so that way it doesn't seem like you're being punished for playing the game as opposed to busting.
I will retort to this. Whatever you're saying right now is 100% gambling. It is not skill. Your argument about the grind is the amount of time it takes to do that. The opportunity is not there to get the thing you want, but a chance to get it. Therefore, it's always going to be gambling.
Fair enough.
Right? Like if you said, I can get the sword that I want, this exact one, if I grind, skill, 100%. But if it's chance to get the sword, that's gambling. Like it's that's the real big difference here. So just note that that's the key thing. The chance to get it is gambling.
Not only what James said, but Chad as well. See you, Blue, Jagos, jumping in there as well. There's. I understand it's a pretty large conversation to have, but hey, we got you talking. That's what it's all about.
I'm wearing a tie. I know.
Yeah, he knows. He knows, and it's skill based. That he didn't. It wasn't a chance based kind of thing. He bought that with his skill.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he earned it. But Blue, would you get a chance? Hop on Discord, bring that up. It'd be cool to kind of chat about it.
Yeah,
a little
no,
bit
definitely
more.
drop it in Discord.
Beyond that, let's move on to the game that I'm excited about. The last little bit of news: Borderlands 4 launch. Hey, there's some free shift codes, right? Make sure your shift account is already set up. I made sure mine was still good. Some of those codes still work, which is great. But the game is releasing September 12th, including those new Vault Hunters, grappling hooks, better traversal systems, some pretty cool stuff. We'll see if it's going to get people back into Borderlands.
Oh, so it's coming out this week.
This
what?
Friday?
No, I said so. It's coming out this week.
Yeah, 3 days. 3 days, my man.
Yeah.
It's coming up.
I want to
remember how we were talking about before, like, there's not as many games coming out, like GTA went away. It's like, well, I'm still interested in Borderlands 4, just because my friend group, my immediate friend group that played the other Borderlands together, we're excited to play again. Like, honestly, like the new mechanics, watching the traversal system, them going to this open world kind of thing, or semi-open world. It's not completely clear. I think
open
it's
environment.
Open environment. Yeah, perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for. With the open area zones, the grappling hooks, like the way to get around, a little bit of gliding as well. Your new jet bike taken from Destiny, Sparrow. I do really like that change to it. I think that's going to change it up for me a little bit, because one thing I got really bored with is when you get into Borderlands, you're playing the same story over and over again. It's the same environments. If you go to the same spot for the same quests, this is going to give a little more replayability and a little more exploration. You don't always feel like you're going down the same area tunnel with your buddies and shooting the same thing forward. Also, one thing I'm super excited about, again, this is kind of veering off news a little bit, but just it's coming out soon. We're kind of excited about it, and I'm going to tie it into an article, so don't you worry, news fans. I do like the farming you can do with bosses. So there's a console you walk up to. You spend whatever kind of currency that's in there that you get in the game. You don't have to worry about buying it, and you can just farm bosses. You don't have to reload the mission. You don't have to go out to the main area. You don't have to do anything. You can just farm what you want to farm. It just makes it much more friendly to do what you want to do in the game, in terms of like, hey, I really want to farm this specific weapon. It drops from like this boss, or there's a chance to get a better roll on this weapon. I want to go to that boss and just kind of like farm that for a little bit. Speaking of freedom, don't forget one thing they really highlighted and I really like is the amount of builds you can do with this. With some of the other ones, there was like very specific ways you went, but there's a lot more freedom and viability with more like passive and active skill mixing. I don't know if you saw the gameplay when we were putting it up. If you hadn't seen it on your own, definitely check it out.
Wasn't the old one like you were limited to a tree? Like, lost Nick, but
we'll find out when it comes back.
Yeah, I think you were like limited to like a skill tree in the old one. Like for example, like in Borderlands 2, like because I didn't play 3 yet. If you were the sniper guy, like you can do sniper, you can do stealth or assassin, from what I remember. So from that, and I think I guess now
but it was more like an adjacent sort of skill.
Yeah, it was like you can put X amount of points in these 3 trees, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we know you froze. I think his internet or crashed. So he'll be back here in a second. I wanted to share something with you guys. Kind of funny because we're talking about codes, right? So this is the game of the year edition for Spider-Man. It comes with a code in the back. So just let you know that. And it says here the code expires what year? Can you guys see that?
Can't really focus.
It says 2022 right there. Expires in 2022. And guess what? The code still works. I used it already. So the expiration date's on the breaker lost power.
The breaker blew.
too much heat upstairs, too much tech upstairs. But yeah, the code for this actually still worked. I was kind of concerned. I was like, it's expired August 28, 2020. It's 3 years late, right? Still works. Don't think that they don't work. If they don't work, it's because someone had used it, but they always work. And I don't know why it says expiration code on there. It's stupid, but they still work. Kind of like your, I think in the TMNT2 Nintendo game, there was a coupon for a free pizza at Pizza Hut. And someone still had, someone redeemed that recently at a pizza. And someone was like, okay, I have to cut this up though. Because you're redeeming it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, the hackers got you.
That was me blowing my breaker apparently.
Okay.
So that's awesome. Thank you for sticking around, everyone. What else did you talk about?
I just talked about how expirations on codes don't matter. They still work.
Yeah. So that was one thing I was going to bring up. Shift codes. If you are not familiar with it, I saw someone in chat. Again, I'm sorry, just everything shut off. You get a lot of keys for the endgame loot to do the golden. Were you already talking about that? I can see you shaking your head. Cool. Well, a lot of in-game loot is how you get that. Also, cosmetics. It's some of the coolest cosmetics you can get with shift codes. From the events they did a PAX panel, for example, and they always do a shift code during that. Get a bunch of cool stuff with it. So definitely, if you don't know what that is, just Google shift code, and you can get set up with that if you haven't played a Borderlands game before. If you have, you definitely know what the shift codes are. At least I did. That's how you got all the stuff. But again, the other reason I kind of brought this up was just to think about which one was your favorite. I know a lot of people tend to call it Borderlands 2, but Borderlands 2, Borderlands 3, OG, even the Game of the Year edition, or maybe the Tales of. What is your favorite Borderlands games? Do you two have a favorite? In chat, do you have a favorite Borderlands? Is it going to be different than 2?
And why is it 2? That's what he's asking. Mine's 2. That's all I gotta say. Minus 2. Never played 3. I played pre-sequel. It's all right. I like 2 the most.
Ace?
2, I tried on the 360, but at the time I just couldn't really get into it.
Oh, fair enough. Man couldn't get into it. So I don't know if you have a favorite weapon. Mine is the sword explosion. It literally is a Torg weapon that shoots a sword that explodes into
you're
smaller...
a Torg guy. Okay.
It's a Torg gun.
Yeah.
But
That's amazing.
It shoots a sword that explodes into smaller swords that explode. Like it's
reverse gunblade.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Where you're shooting the gun.
It's a bunglade.
Perfect. Like Blue is calling out right here, Borderlands 2 is a total package for a lot of people. Some people didn't even play like the later DLCs. They did tie in a little more of the story. They gave a good send off to Scooter as well in the DLC. So if you haven't played through those, it's fun. Got to meet a lot of the crew who made that game. I've got a steelbook back here that's signed. Like I really, really, really got into Borderlands 2. Didn't have the money to like buy the Ultimate Vault Hunter edition because that was ridiculous. But the thought of like being able to have, I mean, part of me does, but I can't afford it. I've got a kid, man. Also for chat, while we're here talking about this next little article, let me know, drop it in, who's your favorite Vault Hunter. Everyone's got a favorite, or at least one they put more time into. So if you don't have a favorite, let me know where you put most of your time. So what I have for you is a article that has kind of made the rounds lately. It's not anything super crazy, but it's kind of a cool throwback to what came before. So when I was working at GameStop, we used to have to, and a lot of people who have worked there have gone there, know that we had to hawk Game Informers pretty aggressively.
Hook them.
Get them out there. Get that subscription fee. One of my favorites was this one, which was the original Borderlands announcement and the realistic artwork that it had. So some people may not know this, but the original plan for Borderlands was this more realistic art style. So Game Informer did drop this article that kind of talks about the behind the scenes story. James, if you don't mind throwing that at the chat if people want to check it out. But this dropped, all the way back in 2007. And it's crazy to think if you've never seen this, knowing where Borderlands came from. But the article just kind of talks a little bit about Gearbox getting down to the wire with an alpha build milestone and then realizing that their game's just not clicking. I mean, how many times have we talked about this with game development where they've got to make this massive change and they don't know if their publisher is going to okay it. So it's a really cool behind the scenes thing where you can kind of take a look and they're telling you, like, this game doesn't feel right. We feel like it has something, but it doesn't feel right. Now, obviously, we know the game came out and we've seen the expanse, everything that's come out of it, even like the Tiny Tina Wonderland. Like they know when something's hot, they're gonna like lean into it, just because they want to give people what they want, which is, say what you will about your experience with Gearbox and some of the games that have come out, but give them credit for that. They'll find what people like and they really lean into it. But how it was a small group of people on the team who were just like, hey, we've got this idea, will you give us the okay to like do this? And Randy, being Randy, was like, you know what, fuck it, sure, give it a shot, let's see if it's going to work out. And then he immediately regretted that and wasn't going to be sure if it was going to work out, and he almost was going to be like, hey guys, I don't think it's going to work out, but it ended up being great. And definitely check out the article, read through. It's a really cool behind the scenes thing, but it was insane that they did it like it says here. Obviously, again, it went from this era of games that was very brown, Dust Bowl, grimy kind of play. I mean, mid-aughts, a lot of games were like that. And this game was coming out all alongside all these other games that were doing the same like color palettes. How do you differentiate yourself? Think about that if you're getting into game dev. Be aware of that kind of stuff. Get that kind of feedback from people. One video that I did, I just want to show you the first little bit, but the original prototype trailer for this, very different vibe just looking at this.
Yeah, 100%. That doesn't even I don't even think that's Borderlands if you showed that to me.
Seeing this gameplay, sorry, go ahead.
I was like, also, I'm glad that they changed it because right around this time, another game looked just like this. And if you don't know what game I'm talking about, instantly, it's Rage. Right? So I'm glad it was able to set itself apart out of the sepia color scheme, because Resident Evil 4 was really heavy on that. Like, just everything's so brown, So I'm glad they made it more colorful and it had its own identity. So yeah,
right,
good choice.
One thing they do call in the article is like it was coming out about the time that they knew that Fallout 3 would be coming out. So if you see this like original gameplay here, you can see a lot of the original DNA for what we eventually got. But when you compare it to like the other games that are out at the time, you're looking at like Fallout and the color palette of Fallout 3 when they launched it. Like this is too similar. Like who knows?
Yeah.
The humor was still there from what I remember, and there was still they leaned into it obviously after the fact, but like they followed their gut with it. They went on a limb with it, and it's a new IP. They're taking this big risk, and just kind of a cool behind the scenes thing before Borderlands 4 comes out. But yeah, just a little realism and checking out that original Game Informer cover art, which, like I said, man, when I was working at Game Informer, GameStop, I remember when that released. It's pretty crazy.
No, it's cool, and I think Borderlands did a good job of, like I said, standing out with the graphics. Also, I don't think the characters would have hit as good if it was in the other art style, because I think part of it is the personality of all those characters, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that like they're a little bit cartoony looking, they're different looking, and there's more color into it, like just like their personalities, there's more color into it. I like that.
Yeah. Last little bit I have before I get out of your hair tonight was just a little bit of rumor mill. Some people are looking at GTA 6 and the trailer number 2. A couple of people are melting down about it, so let's talk about it real quick. So nothing is confirmed yet. Obviously, it's still in development. They're keeping everything tightly under wraps. That's why every little tidbit of information that comes out, every trailer, people go over it with a fine-tooth comb. So when you're talking about that game and we know how huge it's going to be, you start thinking about like what features can be in this game. We already know that, like, what was it? They dropped a figure like 67% of all buildings can be entered in GTA 6. Like they're really going all in on that.
That's insane.
So when people hear that, the hype that's behind it, would you consider like, hey, with GTA 6, would you play that game where weather could literally change your mission outcome? How does that sound for you on GTA 6?
I don't think GTA 6 has anything to do with that, but that's something that hasn't really been done quite yet, and I think that's cool.
So the only thing that I could really think of that's kind of like that is when you're talking about games like Forza, when weather would come in, completely affects how you're going around the track. There's other ones where some games where it's just randomly like, oh, now it's raining, so visibility is worse when you're running around in like an FPS. The reason I bring this up, a little bit of rumor right now, there's a lot of fan theories going around, but GTA 6 might be teasing next-gen weather systems. So realistic storms, flooding, even hurricane events.
That's crazy.
Just imagine like stealth during storms, car chases in heavy rain, like maybe even some missions that aren't even available until a certain weather pattern like comes up. So the reason we're bringing it up is because there's been a lot of speculation since volumetric clouds and Jet was seen like soaring through actual storms. Like we don't know if that's going to be maybe a story mission is just like that, but with everything they've shown and how crazy they've gotten with this, there's some rumors flying around that we're going to get this kind of like active weather system kind of thing in there too, and how that could affect something like GTA 6.
I can see that. They always want to add something unique and new to each iteration, right? And that hasn't really been done yet, so that'd be interesting.
Yeah, super interesting. Last little bit for you. Hey, Ace. Let me ask you, man. Which has a better open world, Elden Ring or Red Dead Redemption 2?
He's played either of those games.
Perfect. That's exactly why I asked you. Who cares? James, how about you, man? How do you like those open worlds? You play either of those ones?
I played Elden Ring. Honestly, Elden Ring to me is just like a super hyper better version, a modern day version of Zelda 1, right? But if you're gonna ask me like which one has the best immersive world, right? If that's your question, Red Dead Redemption. The reason why I say that is because I know people that play RDR2 hanging out in the game. They don't even play. They just hang out in the game and like role play as cowboys because the world's really pretty and they have horses. Yeah, I think that's a win.
Super immersive horses.
Yeah.
Like all the muscles are completely done in there. The reason I'm bringing it up because there's a new rumor that Rockstar is prepping a Red Dead Redemption 2 remaster for the PS5 and Xbox Series X.
Are they hurting for money? They're crazy.
They got to get ready. I mean, when they pushed back GTA 6, maybe some forecasting kind of went a little, skiffy. this kind of brings up a good debate about, games that are getting maybe remastered way too soon, or if it just needs a patch with some fidelity updates. Like, really, is this really needed? Like, you have to think about what, if it does get remastered, if this rumor's true, like what features really need upgrading? Like 4K textures, sure. Maybe a change to the frames. Maybe ray tracing is what they want for like something on PC, or for like what the consoles can do. But this brings up the debate in chat. Feel free to come in on this. But fan fatigue versus fan demand. Do players really want to remaster this soon, or they'd rather Rockstar just work on new content, whether that's for the game as it's updated, like, hey, we've got some new content, or is it just fidelity that's want to grab new people?
Oh, wow, that's a good answer, Andre. I mean, that's a realistic answer. Red Dead 2 needs a remaster with 60 frames of faster loading. Yeah, I think that's just like upgrading it to modern tech specs, right? To run better. I'm always down for that, and I hope more companies just naturally do it as an update, not to buy another game, right? Because I think that's a feels bad if you're like, oh, you want your game to run better.
What if they did something to what like Atlas did, where if you have the other version of the game, you can pay $10 and you get the update?
Yeah, they do that. They did that with when I was playing this, they offered me to upgrade it to the PS5 version for $10.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always down with that. Like, but there has to be something more unique. Like, I don't know. It's just so strange to me that I have to pay $10 more to upgrade a game I already own on a console that's already playing the game. I guess I'm thinking about it very old conservatively, right? On a console that already played the game but has better hardware, but that new hardware doesn't work with the software. That's confusing to me. That's all.
Yeah.
As a console person.
Well, fair enough. Again, just rumors. Take it as a grain of salt, but just a little bit of thinking there in the back of your head. Ready to end it there for you guys. No more news for this week.
What would be fun is if they remade or remastered like GTA something, maybe GTA 3. That'd be not like the trash that we got last time, but like updated a little
bit. Yeah, I was just gonna say we got the definitive edition. No. You sure you want to put that back out there?
No, I don't like new models. You know what I'm saying? Like
the sheer amount of time, money, and effort they'd need to remake that. That's why they did what they did with remaster and gave it to another company so they could work on 6.
Yeah. And I totally get that.
For Red Dead and then 6.
I'm just shocked. They're just like, we need more money now. So let's make this thing.
Yeah, whether or not we really feel that like fills a gap till GTA 6, like if it's just a rumor, if it's still in development, kind of like when are they going to release it? Like holiday season? I don't know. I've already played Red Dead. It's great. I don't think I'd really personally need another remaster of that right now. Now with so many other games that I have, and like you said, the people that are like really hardcore into this, and like role play and like still play it, they're playing it already. They don't really need that update.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're
that's me answering like for them. Obviously, I don't mean to speak for that community. Sure. If they really want an HD update, then hey, that could be a thing.
I just have a feeling like if you're RPing in that game, like you're not gonna care. Like I only really use it for that, unless you're like super into it. Like I want it to look perfect. But yeah, I guess there's still a market for it out there. If you're a fan, you're a fan. Especially, I think there's been a drought. All right. We're getting close to the end here. Ace is falling asleep, so it's all good. He tired.
I was too until my power went out, and I was like, I'm awake.
He tired. I'm not sleepy because I'm wearing a very skin tight suit, so it's okay.
That helps you stay awake.
It helps me stay awake. I'm like, oh, man, I'm uncomfortable.
I've been doing it wrong this whole time.
yeah, tighter, not
tighter, not looser.
Yeah, exactly.
Pro tip chat.
Pro tip chat. Now, I was trying to find some cool song for the final boss, but let me introduce you to the new intro to the final boss. Here we go. Okay, that's when you defeat the final boss, right? That was really cool fanfare.
That, or what you should do is find boss battle music from different video games and play it on a lower level through your monologue.
That's true. I was trying to do like the battles never end in Final Fantasy VII, right? But I feel like everybody does that.
Chat, what we got here, especially Blue, because I know they've got opinions. What is your favorite boss battle music?
I mean, mine is easy. It's never going to change. It's One Winged Angel, of course. It's pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Anyway, today's, as you guys are chatting about that, like Storm Eagle's pretty good for sure. But tonight's final boss is about patch notes for your life. So it's a little bit fun, more fun than normally. Because usually I talk about the allegories between video games and how we can, apply these video game things that we nerd about into real life situations. And tonight, we're going to go ahead and install a new patch in our lives. So, see, games evolve, right? Mechanics get tweaked, graphics get sharper, worlds get bigger, just like a remaster to RDR2. But so do we. Every year, every setback, every win, we're all running updates on ourselves. Sometimes we buff our strengths. Sometimes we nerf our bad habits. Okay. Sometimes life just drives surprise DLC we didn't ask for all the time. And just like a great game, the key isn't about avoiding patches. It's about embracing them, evolving, learning, and grinding XP one quest at a time. So tonight, guys, I've actually composed a patch note list for us here on the show and also for chat. So get ready. Well, here we go. All right, first things first, let me pull up my sheet here. Great. So this is the Gamer Quotient Gaming Academy 2025 Life Patch Notes version 48, the level up update. All right, first things first on the list, buffs. You guys play fighting games, every character gets a buff. I myself get a plus 15 to creativity. Yeah, pat me on the back there. Plus 10 to consistency, add more frames to my animations. And a new passive ability unlocked, always streaming, never sleeping. That's my achievement for myself there. So write that down, chat. Now, for Ace here, man, I think the fans were paying attention. That's great. I love that because he gets a plus 20 spear damage from his Dynasty Warriors patch synergy that we saw in there. Also, a new active skill, Tip Mastery, Techno Tactical Precision, because he's been doing attack for the longest time. Now, what do we got for Nick, our tragically elite gamer over here? Wow, it's a pretty big buff. He gets a plus 30 to data mining. All right, that's a big one. And he also unlocked the Daddy Duty perk, temporarily AFK, but IRL. So there you go. It's a good one.
Is that duty with a U or double O?
Oh, it's UTY. UTY. All right, and you guys, the students of the show, you guys get a massive buff because you guys are always here hanging out. We appreciate that. Plus 100 to patience. That's a pretty good buff. All right. And then with that, a little bit of plus 50 to curiosity. Keep on coming. There's more. And you guys get a passive XP gained doubled just for tuning in. So, hey, you guys get a XP buff for just hanging out. Right? Lamau. Yeah, that's right. All right, here's some nerfs though. You guys are getting eaten good, but you can't be too busted, right? Can't be high tier, right? We gotta balance the game out here at the academy. So the nerfs are procrastination damage reduced by 40%. Can't procrastinate. You gotta do it now. Do it soon. Do it now. Now here's one that's gonna be tough for a lot, including myself, and I think this was necessary. Doom scrolling cooldown increased. Forced to touch grass IRL. It was added to the patch notes. So go out there and touch grass, guys. Stop doom scrolling. Now here's the thing that was a big addition to the final boss, and I think that this you guys contributed this a lot. Was the nerf to compare yourself to others? Debuff removed entirely from all builds. There you go. That's pretty good. Pretty good. All right. Also, some new features unlocked here for us here at the Gaming Academy. We added the side quest awareness, discover hidden joys outside the main grind. That's always a great side quest to have beyond. Unlocked an autosave. Progress is always being made, even if you don't notice it. Right? Like when you're playing a game, you're like, oh, it's autosaving. You see that little thing rotating in the upper hand corner. So just know that you have a version of that in your life as well. Okay? And also, implemented lag compensation, so your journey syncs up when the timing's right. So adapt to the things that are happening in life that causes you lag. So So here's your homework, class. That was the patch notes for your life for tonight. Here's what I got. Here's what you guys need to do once you go. I need you to write down one patch note for your own life this week. Could be a buff, could be a bug fix, could be a QOL update, right? Because if games can level up, so can you. And remember, this is the final boss. So keep grinding, keep updating, keep saving your progress. And, maybe we'll tune in to episode 49 or 50 for the next patch if needed. I thought that was a really fun thing to do for the show. So, there you go. Especially that'll be kind of fun to have like a little video game of Gaming Academy as well. You guys got anything before we call it a night? Chat also? Sleep better? Yeah, I need a buff on that 100%.
You and me both.
Any last moments of wisdom?
Well, honestly, look, if Astria Ascending and Chained Echoes has taught, especially me, it's taught me anything, it's to always keep your ear to the street. Always keep an eye out for something that you might have been, something that you might have taken note of a while back, but kind of faded back in the back of your mind. Dig into the backlog a little bit. Check out some of the stuff that you took notice of in one day, but didn't get the chance to get around to. And get around to it. Who knows? You might find a new favorite.
Yeah, take it from our man on the streets.
If I can play a game that came out in 2018, in 2025 with an expired DLC code, so can you.
And like it.
And like it. So, hey, my thing is always better late than never. We always say here, do it sooner than later, but if that's too tough for you, and that's okay, because you can level that up as well, that stat in your life, better late than never. Just make sure you just get it done eventually, then never do it at all. So that's my my 2 cents for the night, or my 2 bits video game terminology for the evening. But yeah, Nick, got anything?
No, just my bits to your bump. What you said at the end there, very, very important.
All right. And then that's by the way, that's fun fact, that's 50 cents back in the old Western days. 2 bits, just let you know that. Random fact.
Speaking of Red Dead.
Yes, we're going to Red Dead. But yes, let's call that a wrap for Class 48 of Game Academy. We covered a lot today, from the Borderlands 4 issue, and then the Flame Fatale speedruns, to GTA 6 Storm speculation, and Ace's Hidden Gems, Chained Echoes, and Astria Ascending. 2 games that I actually also want to play, so he beat me to it. As you guys know, Indivisible's on my list, which he's already beaten, so it's pretty good. But remember, students, just like games we love, you are consistently evolving. Like tonight's final boss wasn't just about gaming; it was about embracing your own patch notes in your life. Buff your strengths, nerf your bad habits, install those life-changing QOL updates. Because every class, every episode, every day, that's all XP gain. Now, if you joined today's session, make sure you like, follow, subscribe on YouTube, smash that like button, all that crazy sweaty stuff they say all the time on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, so you never miss a lecture. And if you're listening on replay, drop your thoughts in the comments. Which of Ace picks are you most excited for? Chain Heroes, Astria Ascending. What kind of patch notes do you think you could add for your life? Remember to do your homework. And other than that, class dismissed, guys. Students, keep grinding, keep updating, keep saving your progress. And until next time, Headmaster is out here along with the crew. All right. I say that's a good
mission complete.
I notice our endings are all military, but are good.